I'm joined by University of Central Oklahoma defensive line coach Rashad Sanders. Coach, thank you for taking time to talk to me today. Could you start by telling the listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate the invite. Definitely going to embrace the time to talk about the program and my guys. But a little bit about me. I'm originally from Flower Mound, Texas. That's where I went to high school. I went and played at West Texas A&M from 07 to 11. And then from there, actually, before I got into coaching, I started my graduate assistant at West Texas. And then spent a couple years in high school. Went to one high school in the Austin area, I think in 2016, and then stayed there 2 years, went to another high school in Lubbock Estacado for about 8 months. And then my wife told me she was done seeing me be miserable. So I jumped back into college. Luckily got a chance at Texas A&M Kingsville, spent a year there, and then it was on to Edmond from there. So I got here right January 2020 is when I started. So a little over 2 years ago.
Now, during your playing days, I know you were all-conference guy your senior year. So for those who might not have seen you play, how would you describe your play style?
I laugh because I wasn't the biggest or the strongest or the fastest guy out there. We had back in the day, West Texas was pretty loaded with D linemen. So I played along some NFL talent, let's just say that. But I was one of those relentless guys. And I was crafty. I knew I wasn't the biggest. I was close to the strongest, so I used my natural leverage and my strength and my quickness to gain advantage on offensive linemen. And then I had a motor, so I was always going to keep coming. That's one thing I prided myself on is my motor and my relentlessness. So that's something I try to instill in my guys now.
And then what led you to get into coaching?
Just my overall knowledge of the game. I've been playing since I was 5, and football it's my first love. And I honestly couldn't see myself doing a 9-to-5, sitting, in the cubicle all day. That's not me. I'm a big guy. I like to be up and around. So that, and then the bonds that I've made over my years of playing, it led me to want to keep making those bonds in coaching. And now I get to help kids and grow those kids into men. So that's what led me into coaching.
So when I guess what attracted you to come to UCO?
So many people don't know this. Back in the day, UCO was in the Lone Star. And so we've played UCO, in my playing career, and I've seen the town, and it was before the nice end zone facility was built, but I knew what they had, and then moving to the MIAA is obviously the premier conference in Division II. So I wanted to test my skills as a D-line coach to see if I could hack it with the best of the best in this level. And then Nick Bobeck obviously is a great guy. I've known Bobeck for a while through mutual friends. And when this job came available, I literally jumped at it, and he probably got tired of me calling his phone, texting his phone, but at the end of the day, it all worked out. So, UCO is a great place. It's a great place for, me. I have a family, so it's a good place for my kids, my wife, somewhere safe. And it's not in a small college town. It's actually a city where they can go do stuff, because coaching, I'm going to be gone a lot. So they can entertain themselves, and I don't have to worry about them. So, those are some of the things that, drew me to UCO.
Now, you got here in 2020, a little bit before the pandemic happened. How was that experience like? Not only new job, moving your family, but then you kind of have to deal with all that craziness.
No, it was crazy. We joked in here with Coach Bobeck and the last staff is we were glorified academic tutors. That's what we had to do, just to ensure we got our guys on the field, and it took a lot, and it made me realize a lot of the stuff that, because coaching it can be mind-numbing at times, but a lot of stuff that we always thought we had to be at the office for, we now realize we could do it at home, online, via different avenues, and still be effective. And it made coaches adjust, really. A lot of the old school coaches had to get hit with the times now. because it's all digital, and that's the only way you could communicate and could do all of your stuff. So it made me a better coach because I got a lot more resources now to teach my guys than before I got here.
So you get here, obviously the defensive line in 2019, I think they were about 14 sacks. It was not the best of units. You come in here, you signed a really good class in 2020. A lot of guys that played this year. How are you able to go out there and get those quality guys so quickly, I guess?
It was a credit to the last staff, honestly, because when I first got here, they had pretty much already identified the guys we needed to get, and I was just the icing on top of the cake when it came to D linemen, because I know how D linemen think. I know what's important to them, and what I truly value myself as and put above everything else is I pride myself on the relationships I have with my kids. So the fact that I could go in and build those relationships with those kids and start forming those bonds, I think that's what you saw pay dividends this last fall. But that's always going to be a part of my recruiting process, because I want kids that, want to be around me. I want to be around, and it's important to them, the relationship part of it, because recruiting now is all flashy and fancy and Twitter and this and that, but down to its core and the nuts and bolts, it's still relationship driven. And so if those guys don't have, the relationship, if that's not their first, driving factor, then at the end of the day, really, I don't want them because they won't be a good fit here.
And so there was no season in 2020, but you had it was almost like a free redshirt year, I guess. Mm-hmm. How much did that development help out this group this past season?
A ton. It was very crucial to our development because I was able to get some of those freshmen an extra year. So they grew up, their bodies matured, and they got to learn the system an extra year versus being thrown into a system, a couple weeks before you play game one. So now they got to understand, the they got to understand the position. I'm a D-line guy. We don't talk well. They got to understand all the minute details in the position. I could get really, in depth with them. So their knowledge isn't really, they might be a redshirt freshman on the field, but their knowledge is more of a redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior, because they've spent that extra year with me. And there was no pressure like game week. Mm-hmm. It was really spring ball for a whole year. And spring ball is really meant for development. So that's what I think they had so much success this last year.
And then you all had the spring scrimmage game against Southern Nazarene. What did you see from that group at that time? Because that was your first, I guess, somewhat live game action with that group.
What I saw is a lot of young dudes who were ready to play, that embraced competition and didn't shy away from the moment. Because that was their first true competition since their last game of their senior year. And so seeing that and then them go compete against another D2 opponent, I was like, okay, we got something here. So it was really good for our guys to get that out of the way before their first actual collegiate game.
And then you went out in 2021. You brought in Michael Slater and Robert Fuentes. What did you see in those two guys that made you believe they could come in and make a huge impact immediately?
Difference makers. To lack of better words, they're freaks. And so that's what you're gonna have to be to come into this room. And that's what I kind of prided myself on. If you're gonna come in and be a transfer and be a difference maker, you gotta be a freak. Just because the Oklahoma talent that we have on this team is really good. It's really, really good. And I'm excited to even further it this year. But those two dudes right there, Michael Slater is a special guy. He's I think both of them really are once in a lifetime guys that you get to coach, and the fact that you have two of them on the same team, it's very rare. So I'll take those guys 100 times out of 100 times out of 100 times.
Now you just said that both are once in a lifetime guys. What makes them, in your opinion, a once in a lifetime guy?
Well, so they're two really good players, but they're two very different players. Slater is, once you get to know Slater is goofy, fun-loving, energetic. That's him off the field. But when he gets on the field, his competitive nature is second to none. Like, he does not like missing practice for injuries. He wants to play football. He truly loves football. And I think that's what sets both of them apart is those guys truly love the game and they give their all to the game. And with Rob's his own personality, and I love him. He is the juice. He is the energy. He is the hype man. But then again, he loves the game. So when he goes out there on Saturdays and during the week, he's going to give you everything he has. And you put that on top of their already athletic ability, and they're wanting to learn the game and learn the new schemes, you get what you get.
And that was something I noticed too. You know, every time a guy on the line made a play, you know, it was almost like the whole line was happy for him, and you could see that radiate. How important is that to have a position group that's that close and that happy for each other's success?
It has to happen. All the best teams are player driven, and the best teams that I've been on, the D line is close, and it's almost like a brotherhood. And that's what we preach, and that's what I preach in this room is D block. That's what we call ourselves. It's D block mentality. It's us, you know, against the world. We're going to be the standard on the team. We're going to be the standard in the conference, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable. So, and it's good to see each one of those guys hold each other accountable and push each other to get better. That's when you know you truly have something special. And so the brotherhood that they formed, and COVID helped that too, because you got to get guys out of their comfort zones. They get to mold and know each other without the pressure of the season. So last year was special and it was fun. It definitely was fun to be able to have that camaraderie, that sense of fun. That's really what it was. It was fun. We were out there having fun, and that's what I enjoyed seeing from my guys.
The season opener, Missouri Western, the key stop there. Robert, in my opinion, had 3 great pass rushes. I believe it was the left side, forced that pick. At that point, or at any point before that, did you realize at that point, or at what point, how special could this group become?
I knew we had something special during fall camp. I didn't know how special it was until you see it game one, because you never know what you think you have something, and then you can come out and be like, oh, I got this wrong. But once I saw the constant pressure we were getting on Mo West and the TFLs, and I was like, these guys, they're for real. And then when you had Robert and Dion and Slater and Hunter and Derek Shaw and JoJo and Zayn, like making plays consistently, I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be a good year for us. So, I mean, I knew Rob was going to be for Rob to do that game one when he had just come off of, you know, playing the season at Snow Junior College and gotten here 2 weeks before camp, for him to look like that game one, I was like, oh, y'all just wait till this dude gets some of the rust knocked off and gets polished up and how I want him. And then it was about game 5, the Fort Hays game, I think was his coming out party. That's when he really showed what he could do that game. And then on fourth, he was, in my opinion, a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I watched the tape of the Fort Hays when I was making the breakdown vision. And I like almost every snap where he was in the backfield, putting pressure on, putting his hands up. But you mentioned a lot of other guys, Hunter Largen, Zayn Adams. You had a deep unit. So how tough was it, if at all, to figure out the proper lineup or rotation? Because there was a lot of guys and we had a lot of plays. And I gotta ask, how did you figure that out?
That's the stuff that people don't see. That right there kept me up at night because, and it's a great problem to have, but you have good players and you're almost 3 deep. So you got 12 guys you think that can go. But how do you get all of those guys quality reps? Because they all want quality reps and they all deserve them because they work their butts off and they put in the work. Now, that's why they call me coach. How do I find time to get these guys in this situation? And so we came up with, you know, specific packages for guys. So that's how you might not start, but you're the starter in this package, or this is your role. And then the guys, I think, really embraced it once they realized, hey, this is how I help the team. This is how I help the defense. So, I mean, it was, like I said, it took me a mix. I was like, man, we got a lot of guys. Like, I don't know how to do this. This is going to be
Then the Missouri Western game, not Missouri Western, the Northwest Missouri game, that really impressed me because that's a very, very good program, very good team. And in the first half in particular, you all dominated them up front. The running game was stifled. You were getting pressure. What was working, especially in that first half? Because to most UCO fans, coming off 2019, when we were dominated up front defensively the majority of the time, not only was it refreshing, but I think it was kind of shocking just to see in live time the improvements in the sheer amount of talent that you have amassed. What was working in the first half of that game?
But to the Northwest Missouri game, I issued a challenge to the group, and I think they met that challenge because at the end of the day, to be the big dogs, you got to beat the big dogs. And for a long time, as long as I can remember, even when I played, I knew Northwest Missouri. They're traditionally really good. They really have a good O-line. And watching film up to that point, that was the best O-line we'd seen. So I challenged them. I said, if you want to be remembered, this is the game you need to do it against the best of the best. They answered the challenge. And it's easy. Like, I could sit up here and take credit. Like, hey, it's all coaching. It's all those kids. It's all their want to. It's how hard they work during the week. And it showed up with their play.
And then just looking at the overall work this season of your group, what are you most impressed with?
Their resiliency. They kept coming, even when things weren't looking up for us as a team. They could have used that and said, I'm gonna cash it in, I'm gonna hang it up, but they didn't. They kept playing for JoJo. They kept playing for D. Shaw. They kept playing for Ceci. Like, they kept playing for the seniors and for each other. And by doing that, I think overall they had a pretty solid year as the D-line. So that was what was most impressive to me is even when things weren't going good for us as a team and they were getting frustrated, they kept playing.
And you mentioned the three seniors there. Now you got to replace. You do have several red shirts. Now I know this is early. I know spring ball is next month, but is there any names people should be on the lookout for? Because I know personally, I was really high when I saw the tape on Montel Cozart out of Bishop Kelly. I was it's a very impressive tape. And then Jamar Goff from Pahuska as well. The tape looked really good. Who would be a couple of names that fans should be on the lookout for in the spring and moving into fall?
Definitely. Well, I think there's one that they probably already know, but I don't think they really understand what's about to happen is Zayn Adams. He is an absolute unit. Now, I just call him the unit now. If they could see what I see in the weight room, oh my gosh. So him, and who you mentioned, Montrell Cozart, because what people don't realize is he really didn't play his senior year because he had ACL surgery. And so now I think that knee's finally 100% healed, and he is explosive, and he is twitchy. And so I expect him to contribute. And then my two young boys, they're not young anymore. That's crazy. Hunter and Vaca, I expect them to have standout years as well. So it'll be some names they've heard, and then some that they haven't. But I expect those guys who were younger, the redshirt freshmen that played last year, I expect them to take big leaps this next fall.
Yeah, and you mentioned Hunter. He's so quick for a guy his size, though. There's several clips, like he just, I don't even say he jumps the snap, but like the timing.
Yeah, that jump swim, boy. Woo! Hey, we went rounds about that jump swim, me and him. But it's something that it's a good changeup move, and it worked for him, and it shows his athleticism. Because I'll tell you this about Hunter. Hunter got offered by us when he came to summer camp because he completely obliterated about 4 O-linemen that we had offered. And we had to go back and be like, either these O-linemen aren't what we think or he's just that dude. But when you see him, he's not going to pass the eye test. But that dude is heavy-handed. He has quick feet. and he's strong and has natural leverage, and he's starting to learn how to use that. And when he does, he's going to be a force.
And then you mentioned Vodka, that tape on the Poto. I was I was really impressed by that tape. What I guess what does he have to do? I guess in order to carve out a role here this season.
He has to keep on being Vodka. One thing that he has to do that we've talked about and that he's taken serious, and I'm really, really looking forward to it, is his weight. I want him a little leaner, and he's getting there. And it's starting to show up because he's starting to move even better. Now, that's a big athletic joker now. Now, he's legit, and he is heavy-handed. But I think if we can get him, his weight under control and get his body fat down, I don't know who can block that guy. Just because I know what he can do. And there's a reason that kid had D1 offers coming out of high school. Yeah. I mean, he's legit. So but between him and Hunter, the nose guard position, like if you want to come in here and be a transfer, you got to be a dude. Because those dudes are going to push you and they're going to work. And I'm excited that I have them both for 3 more years.
And then you went out and you signed one defensive lineman, Zachary Stillwell out of UConn. Mm-hmm. What did you like about him enough for him to be the lone lineman that you brought in this year?
One I like is that he was a state qualifier wrestler. And that with Hunter as well. Hunter Largent was a state qualifier wrestler. Wrestlers are they're built different. For somebody to physically go out there one-on-one and impose your will on somebody and get them to do something that they don't want to do, you got to be a different cat for that. So Zach, I mean, he's a wrestler. He can do that. He's UCO through and through because his brother was a really good player here. And he's a really good athlete. He moves well. He bends well. He's heavy-handed. And I think he's going to get big enough to be a really good player here.
Now, Michael, I think he had 18 and a half TFLs. Fuentes also had a good year. What do you think was the key to both those guys' success this past season?
Their work ethic. Like I said, those two dudes, they love football and they love working. And then how much they bought into the extra film watching, the extra practices, the extra, you know what I'm saying, going above and beyond. We have a term around here, one more round. Those guys went one more round, and they didn't even know they were going one more round just because they loved the game of football. So they would always be in my offices interrupting meetings, defensive meetings, because they wanted to watch film or they saw something about this old lineman or they did this. Well, that's what the truly great ones do. And so just them having that knowledge of the game allowed them to play faster. And then obviously being really good athletes helps as well.
Now I believe you're the lone holdover, I believe, from the previous staff, which I was glad you were retained. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, yes, because the defensive line was so good.
Well, I appreciate it.
We don't need him to be gone.
Definitely appreciate it.
What how has that adjustment period been? And what were there any challenges? What was the process kind of like from the time Coach stepped down until Coach Dorrell kept you on staff?
Well, any coach will know this. When Coach Bobeck told us he was stepping down, it was instant fear. I was like, oh boy, what are we gonna do? Because I got a wife and 4 kids. Like I had a baby during the week of Nebraska Kearney game. And so I was like, I got a newborn. I don't know what we're going to do. Who do we need to talk to? Like, what do we do to make this happen? So it was fear and uncertainty. And then when Coach Dorrell got named the head coach and he told me he was going to keep me, it was relief. And it was not, the job's not finished. Because that's my big deal. I don't think the job is finished here at UCO. So now I'm able to finish the job that was tasked to me. And I'm able to keep working at a place that I love, in a community that I love, and with the kids that this is my group. These are guys that I've had a hand in recruiting. And so this is special to me. I got it how I want it. and we're gonna roll. But the challenge, I mean, just getting to know, how a new staff works, those inner workings, the schedule, what we're looking for, bouncing, going from one scheme to a new scheme. And now we got to recruit to that scheme and find how we fit our players to that scheme. And I mean, it was hard to navigate at first, but now I think we got a good hold of it, and I think it's going to be really good. I'm really excited now for the new regime.
See, everybody I talked to so far has said that they're excited. They believe there's a new energy around the program. So I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to it. I kind of like the group we have here. The strong recruiting class. Obviously, both of your defensive line is back. What can UCO fans expect from your unit in 2022?
Improvement. What you're going to see is you're going to see dudes who fly around. You're going to see dudes who are relentless, and you're going to see playmakers. That's what you're going to see. There's going to be the scheme, I think, helps us. I'll say that. And then I'm not done either. Let that be known. There's going to be some names that they don't know about yet that'll show up. But it'll be the same passion that they see every week in and week out. We're a passionate group. We wear our emotions on our sleeves, and we're those dudes. And that's how I believe it, and that's how they believe it. And that's what they're going to see every week. And it's only going to intensify as these guys keep getting older, as the season keeps going on, because that's the pressure we put on ourselves as a unit. So they can count on that. The D block's going to be the ones who we're like I said, we're going to be those dudes. We're going to keep constant pressure, relentless all day.
Oh, that's that doesn't get you fired up. I don't know what. Before I get you out of here, I do this with every guest. Kind of get to know you questions.
Yep.
So, okay, your favorite sports team could be any sport.
Favorite sports team? Are we talking about of all time, or are we talking about like right now?
Either one.
All right, so I don't know. New Zealand All Blacks. It's a rugby team. They have the highest winning percentage of any team, any sport in the world. I actually stayed up one night really, really late, like 5 a.m., and they have a series on Amazon Prime. And I watched that whole series. And after that, I was so captivated that I started doing my own research into them. And just that culture and what they do, it amazes me. So I love the New Zealand All Blacks. And plus, you got to be a little different to play rugby now. So, I like them dudes.
Okay, well, I think that's the first time I think somebody said rugby. Okay, well, I like that. Okay, let's see here. Your favorite, what? I just probably begin, but your favorite hobby outside of football?
I love hunting. I'm a big hunter. I love going out. I grew up on land. So like I said, originally I'm from Flower Mound, but I spent a lot of time in East Texas because we have land land in East Texas. So I love I got the hiccups. I love hunting. I'm a country boy at heart. So anytime I can go out and get my bow and arrow or my rifle, that's what I want to do.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Your favorite musical artist?
Boy, you put me on the spot.
Hey, that's what we do here.
All right. My dad would appreciate this one. Growing up, and I'm an 80s baby. Al Green. I think Al Green, that's anytime I hear Al Green or some old soul music, that's it. Like, now I still listen to the new stuff. I'm still, relevant, but you throw on some Al Green, some Teddy Pendergrass, I'm all in on that. I'm an old soul.
Okay, so in terms of recent artists, who would you say is your go-to?
So in college, I thought this. In college, I was like, Eminem, like nobody's messing with him lyrically. He's a genius of the English language. He's that dude. Now I think I'm a big Pop Smoke dude right now. I like Pop Smoke. I got all his stuff. Moneybag Yo. I can get down with some Moneybag Yo. In Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are three
I
very
can,
solid.
I can do it all, man. I'm jack them all trades.
Okay, let me know.
Jack 'em
Okay.
all trades.
Let's see here. Okay, favorite TV show.
Ooh, Game of Thrones, Vikings, when it was on, they just came out with a new one on Netflix that I started watching today. Pretty legit. Any of the Hard Knocks. I'm a big, football junkie, but any of that type stuff, yeah, I'm in on that. Oh, and one, Real Husbands of Hollywood. Gotta watch it. Kevin Hart's my guy. Gotta watch it.
Okay. Your favorite Hard Knocks season.
Ooh, boy. This one is because it was when they were in LA and they did the Rams. And I say this, I can't remember what year it was, but I say this because there was a special when they cut Ronald Ollie and they signed one of my former players, Ethan Westbrooks. And Ethan was there he was there for probably 4 or 5 years and before he went to San Francisco. So getting to see him on Hard Knocks was the best moment for me.
Okay, favorite food.
Hey, like genre or like we getting specific? You talking to my inner fat boy now.
Both, either.
All right, so being from Texas, love Mexican food. But marrying my wife, she's part Polynesian. So getting into that culture now, like all my polys will know Loco Moco, hey, smacks. Loco Moco is where it's at. If you ever have a chance to go to a Hawaiian food truck, get the Loco Moco. That smacks.
Okay, well, all right. I got the official Coach Sanders endorsement. Okay.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. I'm telling you.
I won't be disappointed. I'm trying to think here. I can think of. Oh yeah. As a coach, do you have any pregame ritual or routine that you normally do before games?
I'm not. I'll say this. I'm not the most pleasant to be around pregame. I'm very superstitious first and foremost. So like if we win, I'm wearing the same thing down to my socks. Eating the same. I'm gonna have the same snack. Like it's the same. But I'm just most of the time I'm here early. I'll put on College Game Day, and then I'll put my headphones in, and I'll just sit in my office and, like I said, just kind of be to myself until it starts coming when we got to get the groups ready to go out on the field. Then I start livening up. But from that standpoint, it's like I said, I will literally wear the same thing every game day. And then if we lose, I'll switch it up. Like, I'm surprised I couldn't do it. It's kind of a staple, but normally the beard is so when I was at West Texas, all the coaches would, first day of camp, we'd shave, and then we'd grow our beards out until we lost again. And then hopefully we can get that like we get this, UCO like we had it there, because it'd be week 12, week 13 before we shaved. That's when we had it rolling. So that's the expectation.
Well, yeah, I think we're headed that way. I think we're headed that way. I think I think the future is very bright. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time. I know we had some scheduling issues and whatnot, so I'm glad we were able to sit down and get this here. And a spring ball is, I think, March 22nd is what I was told.
The spring game, March 24th.
March 24th. Okay, so
April 24th. No, you're talking about the first day. Yep.
Yeah, first day. Yeah, I'm about to say, okay.
Spring break. Yeah, I can't, man.
So many dates, right?
We're ripping and running. I got a calendar right here, but we're full steam ahead. I can't wait to be back on the field and just see how our kids act, with the new coaches, with the new scheme. And I think what we're going to do is going to be good for them. And I can't wait to see it all come together, just because it's so simple that they have no choice but to play fast. And if these kids play fast, then it's going to be special. And we got a big bulk of them coming back that have played and got experience, and now they're a little bit more confident. They know what the league is because, essentially there was only a handful of guys on last year's team who had played in the MIAA before. Well, now we got these guys who are, all right, Coach, yeah, we've been through a season. We know what it is. We know who the big dogs are, and we know what we need to do. And so now they're hungry because now they know all these guys are like, Coach, we shouldn't have lost that many games. Like, you're right. And so now it's a revenge tour. It's what I call them. The revenge tour started. So we're out for blood this year. So I'm excited to get back on the field. I can't wait.
Well, that's a very scary thought then for opposing offensive lines, because I did not know about Robert only coming a couple of couple of days or weeks before fall. I did not know that, because way he played, you would have thought he was there.
He's been with me a long time. No, he came. He was a late summer ad. He came, like I said, a couple of weeks before fall camp, probably maybe I think like a week before fall camp. And so he had to learn a new scheme, get in shape, do all this. Well, now he's in the weight room and he's grinding in the weight room. He's already put on about 10 pounds, and he's kept his speed, kept his energy, and now that kid's he's different. He's different.
Okay, that's a very scary thought.
I hope I just don't mess them up too much. Just let these guys go play and don't let Coach Sanders mess you up too much.
Because I remember when I was talking to Jace, he mentioned that the toughest line he faced was in practice every day. So I feel hard pressed to argue with him. Some bias, but still, that like I said, your unit is very impressive, and I think I'm not the only UCO fan here that appreciates the improved defensive line play, because again, it was down for a period, but when I saw that 2020 class, I was like, oh, we have some people coming in here now that I think can really change this, and I'm glad that has come to fruition. Yeah. Coach, like I said before, I appreciate you taking the time. I hope you have good, productive spring. I hope it leads to a good fall, and you're more than welcome to come back on again at any time you want. And
anytime you want me, I'm more than happy to come on and speak. I appreciate you, rescheduling and getting me on to talk a little bit about the guys. Like I said, I'm blessed. They're a great group of guys, and I'm blessed I get to coach these guys every day. And we got people like you that come support and follow us. And to all the followers who are going to, listen to this, come out. The spring game's going to be big. We're going to do it right. Come see what, the 2022 Broncos are going to look like, and then come support. Because like I said, AD he's that guy. I've lost many games to him when he was at Northwest, because they were arch rivals or arch nemesis at West Texas. They kicked us out the playoffs. So I know what to expect, and just the changes that I've already seen here, everything's trending in the right direction. We just got to keep getting better and keep putting, one foot in front of the other every day and keep going to work. But I'm very excited for what the future holds for the Broncos.
You mentioned, do you know when that spring game is?
It is. I got it. I know it's the 24th, but I think it's April. Let me check my schedule real quick. It is April 23rd. I'm sorry. It's April 23rd.
Okay.
6 p.m. at the stadium.
Okay. Well, I have to make a note of that then. Make sure I get down there, because I'm definitely excited to see this year, because I don't think. Was there one last year? Because if there was, I definitely missed it. I know I couldn't make the Southern Nazarene scrimmage, and then the OBU one was canceled. Mm-hmm. It was unfortunate because I was all ready to go.
It was more like an inter squad scrimmage. It wasn't a true spring game production. Okay. But we're gonna try. Like I said, we're gonna try to make it a big deal. Bring, alumni back. And get more student involvement and community involvement, and try to make this place rocking, because when this place does get rocking, it can be special. And if we can have that every game of the year, then I think that'll be, another boost on top of what we have on the field.
Exactly. I've always said that, we can just create that home field advantage that a lot of other of our conference foes has. It will go a long, long way. Because like I said, I've seen games which been packed before. Obviously, the season opener is usually a pretty good turnout. And then I know 2018 when we upset Northwest Missouri, there was a really good crowd. I remember how special that was. So, I just hope, like I said, I hope people could come out, at least give it a chance. You have nothing really to lose here. So, but no, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm at April 23rd, 6 p.m. Okay, I'll make sure to spread that when the time comes. We'll make a note. We'll make a note of that. But again, Coach, I do appreciate it. Like I said, you come back on more than welcome to. And I say, I hope spring goes well. I hope you have a good spring. It leads to a good off season, good fall camp, and and then when we start rocking and rolling in the fall here, that we pick up where we left off on the defensive front and then improve upon that. Because as I mentioned before in the breakdown, it seemed like every single week I had to discuss you and your group because it was just so impressive, and week in, week out, and like I said, they had not been seen around these parts here for at least a couple of years. So I do appreciate the quality line play and the effort that your guys gave. Every game. I know that can get tough, like you mentioned, when things get bad, but them still going out there and playing at a high level. It says, I always said that it says a lot about the character of the program and the guy leading them. So I do want to give you shout out credit for that, because that's also
I appreciate it.
So
it ain't me, it's them. It's them all day. Like I said, I'm the lucky one that they get to call coach, but it's those guys. So, but I appreciate it. I'll take it. Boost my ego a little bit. I appreciate it.
Well, you are the one putting them in the right spots, though. Now,
Yeah.
Rotations, the packages.
You ask them to put it on, they be like, he holding us back. I'm like, hey, calm down, boys. But no. Like I said, if you see us ever interact, it's all love, and we joke like we're a bunch of big kids. Because my wife says it. She's like, I don't have 5 kids. I have 4 kids. I got 5 kids because you're the biggest kid of them all. So yeah, we have fun. We definitely joke and crack on each other, but when it's time to work, we know what to do. So it's fun.
That's good. Well, like I said, Coach, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. Definitely. Anytime you just let me know, we'll do another one. I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely make this work. I'll probably reach out to you after spring. Yeah, probably after spring. I'll get that spring game. I can kind of see, and then we kind of figure something else out. So, but hopefully this is not the last time that we see Coach Sanders here on Cho Show, because it is very, very insightful, and it has been a blast. And so, I thank you for taking time. I know the life of a coach and a father is very, very busy. So, I appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, anytime. Like I said, I appreciate it. I'm just finna go get this swole on now and then go to the house.
Hope you have a good workout, Coach.
I appreciate it, man.